Whata?
And g'day viewers, I'm Michael.
And I'm Janet. And this week's episode is about leadership versus leadershit.
No doubt through our lives, most of us have experienced examples of both. One inspiring and exciting, and the other selfish and toxic and all about them. You know what I mean?
So if you want to be the leader that people want to follow, you need to learn the art of leadership. So head over to this podcast for some tips on how to do it right. Whata?
And g'day.
I'm Janet.
I'm Michael, and welcome to this week's episode about leadership versus leadershit. So no doubt through our lives, most of us have experienced examples of both leadership and leadershit. You know, when we've worked for someone who is amazing, who takes us on a journey with them, is in the trenches with you, share in triumphs and defeats. They give you the accolades and they take ownership, accountability and responsibility, not just for their actions, but for those around them. Then there's the other side of the coin, the supposed leader who barks orders, dictates, takes credit for others' work, blames others for failures, finger points, and doesn't help the team grow or develop. It's all about them. Sound familiar? I know through my career, I've worked with both types. And I remember working with this one person who was a supposed leader, who, while on one hand could be absolutely inspirational and visionary, but then she would bark orders, blame you for issues, give you no empowerment to make decisions, always focused on the negatives and took credit for others' ideas. It was actually a toxic environment.
So what is leadership? Well, it's not as simple as having one definition of it, because leadership means different things to different people, different cultures, and in different situations. But in its simplest form, leadership is influencing and inspiring other people to follow, bringing people towards the best outcome for all. Leadership's not self-serving, and that is the key point. Leadership is influencing and inspiring and leading others towards greatness. Strong leadership enables the team around them to succeed. It sets direction, creates a vision, and nimbly adapts as circumstances require. It's flexible. Leadership is about, it has to be. If you're taking on a leadership role, get pliable, get malleable. You've got to be able to bend when the winds of change,
Like
blow
a good
in.
tree in the wind.
Like they always do. Leadership is about taking your team on a journey. It's about charting the course so that you win as a team or a company. Leadership is dynamic, it's exciting, and it is inspiring. And it doesn't mean that you have to be the boss or the team leader or the captain. It happens at all levels within organisations and within society. Anyone who can influence and inspire people to follow them towards the best end result has leadership qualities.
Hey, Jenny, what do you do if you're in the unfortunate situation where a manager or upline or someone you're working with is of the leadership variety?
Where possible, Pass, you adopt the attitude of the ant.
The ant?
The ant. Have you ever watched an ant? When an obstacle gets in its way, it will find its way around that obstacle always. I used to study ants as a kid quite often.
You've loved ants all
I
this
did,
time.
I
I
really-
remember that. Hey, there's stinking ant from National Velvet.
I actually still watch ants, which is, a little strange, but they have a lot to teach us. These guys really put the T in tenacity. They will keep working out a path around any obstacle until they find one or die. So to deal with leadership, don't die, but just find a way around it. And okay, there are certain situations, for example, if you find the leadership is affecting your mental, physical or emotional well-being, you need to get out.
Oh, yeah, get out of there.
Get right out of there. And if you are giving your absolute best and it's not good enough in their eyes and you're not being recognised or appreciated for your efforts, it's time to go. No workplace is worth staying for if you are being treated like this or made to feel, so negative. It's just, that's not worth it.
Oh, mate, it sure isn't. And I've been in situations like that before where you just got to get out. You have to get out. You stay there as long as you can and you keep fighting it, hoping it's going to get better, and it just doesn't.
Yeah. If it's one of the garden variety of leadership that you're dealing with, there are ways around and through them, like an ant. I'm going to give you a couple. I'm going to share a couple with you today that are absolute gems. The results that I've experienced both personally and with our clients are pretty outstanding. They're really simple exercises. They're going to be on our website, which is www.chrysalisgroup.com.au under free stuff. And I can't wait to hear your stories when you put these into practice. You literally alchemize and transmute the situation into one that is not only workable and sustainable, it brings with it inspiring, positive change. The stories I've got around this are incredible.
As we said before, true leadership shares a vision and inspires to provide direction, clarify priorities, empowering you, allowing you to make mistakes, and that's really important, allowing you to make mistakes, and providing the checkpoints for success. And with leadership, the leaders are generally problem solvers, always looking ahead, challenging the status quo, and are always proactive. And if you go back through a previous podcast, the one called GSD, Get Shit Done, you'll see that they do that. They just GSD, they get shit done. They think deeply about their industry and what the trends are and how it will change and evolve so that they can innovate and shape what you do in the future. And when you work with these leaders, you really buy into their vision. You're really clear on the strategy and you're working headlong to the achievement of what it is they're aiming for. And history is littered with so many amazing leaders and who demonstrate leadership and also leadership.
A great example of outstanding leadership was Winston Churchill. In one of the most difficult times in the world's history, Churchill had an amazing ability to inspire an entire nation. He did not allow a defeatist attitude, nor would he consider talk of reasonable terms with Hitler. He had this ability to channel his vision and determination to the British people, strengthening their resolve and giving praise to others. Sure, he had faults, who doesn't? But in this situation of leadership, he was fantastic. He projected an attitude of optimism and stalwart fortitude. His ability to truly inspire was showcased in the speech that he made to the House of Commons when he spoke these famous words.
We shall go on to the end. We shall fight in France. We shall fight on the seas and the oceans. We shall fight with growing confidence and growing strength in the air. We shall defend our island, whatever the cost may be. We shall fight on the beaches. We shall fight on the landing grounds. We shall fight in the fields and the streets. We shall fight in the hills. We will never surrender.
This speech prompted the then Labor MP Josiah Wedgwood to say, "That was worth 1,000 guns and the speeches of 1,000 years."
And then you have Hitler, right? So now you could say, you could say, he was an example of strong leadership as he was visionary, he was charismatic, and like Churchill, he was able to galvanise a nation. But no, doesn't the name ring a bell? Remember, this is Hitler we're talking about here. Hitler, the guy that ruled with an iron fist. Hitler, who was responsible for countless human atrocities. Hitler, who plunged a world into war. The leader who ruled, not led. It was his way or the highway, wouldn't listen to others' ideas, and if they were opposed to his thinking, and if the answer wasn't what he wanted to hear, he wouldn't listen to it. So I think you would agree that Hitler was actually an example of leadership.
And look, there are many examples of both kinds, country and Western, all through history of leadership. And leadership, that was just an example of a situation that showed, the strengths of both sides. So what about leadership and management? Well, people often get the two confused, but leadership and management are not the same thing. They are distinctive, yet complementary. Management has been described as the attainment of organisational goals in effective and efficient manner through planning, organising, staffing, directing and controlling organisational resources. But that's not leading.
Many managers can be highly skilled and they're really good at their jobs and they're valuable to their organisations without a doubt, but they don't necessarily exhibit good leadership qualities. Now, the danger in these situations is that the people that are being managed by these people think they're being led, but they're actually not. There can be no leadership at all with no one setting a vision and no one being inspired. And while leaders usually set direction for the work being done, they also need to use management skills as well to guide their people. So leadership and management are not mutually exclusive.
As we mentioned earlier, leadership definitely requires flexibility, adaptability, being ethical and culturally aware. The effective leaders of today consult, collaborate and empower in order to get the best from themselves and their people and for the greater organisation as a whole. Authentic leaders are self-aware, they're honest, humble, responsible, and they show an absolutely huge amount of courage. We've all worked for leaders who've gone out on a limb because they know what the right thing is to do. They stay true to themselves and to their staff. They lead with purpose, meaning and values. They build lasting relationships with others and they exercise a great level of self-discipline. They live above the line most of the time, meaning that they take ownership, accountability and responsibility, not only for their actions, but for the actions of those around them. Leadership is the complete opposite of this.
It sure is. So to sum it up, leadership is about others, about helping others be their best and bringing the best out in them. It's about creating a high-performance culture. Leadership is about creating an inspiring vision and then motivating and inspiring others to achieve it. It's not about being in a management role or specific personality traits or hierarchy. Good leaders can be anywhere at any time and exhibit genuine strength, credibility, trust, and authenticity. Leadership is truly proactive.
Leadership, on the other hand, is all about the individual. That person, their needs, their insecurities, their desire to gain power, their wants, and a whole lot of ego. Leadership lives when people are deactive, where they blame, make excuses and deny any issue belongs to them. When you're deactive, you are closed, defensive and determined to be proven right. You cling to your opinions, you find faults, you finger point, you blame, you gossip, you rationalise and you justify.
So if you want to be the leader that people want to follow, you need to learn the art of leadership and look at what you can do each and every day to be a good leader. And recognise the pitfalls of leadership because they're there and we can often fall into them so that you know when you go below the line.
When you're aware, it's then easy to bring yourself back up, be proactive, take the proactive approach into leadership. Your team will benefit, you will benefit, and so will the company. Until next time, love and blessings.
See ya.
Thanks for watching this video, and we hope that you got a lot out of it. We would love it, be grateful and appreciative if you would take the time to like this video, comment if you feel inclined, and share with any friends that you think would benefit from this. We are constantly creating new great content, so also remember to subscribe so you don't miss out on any of the awesome material that we have coming up. See you soon.